Hey guys, what's going on? Will here, Flawless Exotic Creations. Wanted to drop a informational video, hopefully to new breeders getting in the game. Doubt any veterans can kind of learn anything from us, because again, we're just new to this side of things. But this is going to be talking about the times we're going through right now, watching Morph Market, watching snakes and projects drop in value. Or drop in cost, let me not say value. So people now, you're thinking about it as, oh wow, well, you're losing your investment. Well, not really. Essentially, we're going through a correction, and you got to kind of prepare for that collection, or that correction, I'm sorry. And what does that mean for us in the hobby? It's just like real estate, when you're dabbling in real estate, it's like you want to invest, you want to make money when people are at the top making money, making the big bucks, but you have to start somewhere. You don't want to jump in all the way at the top if you're not financially set to kind of go that route. So the reason I wanted to do it with this setting, we actually have this kind of all set up. We have thermostats and everything for it, power ran for it. This is 13 levels high, 5540 series from ARS, and we're actually ordering another one, maybe two more. And again, this thing is completely empty. We still have more racks actually that we are utilizing that still have empty slots on those as well. So if you ask yourself, why would you keep buying racks if you still have rack space? It's just preparing for our 2-year, 3-year, 5-year plan on what we have kind of set in motion for ourselves. We want to keep our collection small, and I guess from say hobbyist mindset is getting rather large. We have 140 ball pythons, not counting any hatchlings that we have, which we really haven't posted. We need to post them on Morph Market and at least get them out there so people can see them in case they need them for their projects. But the reason we want to actually have space, if you think about it, with what we're doing, a lot of our snakes, and it's not, it's no clout or anything, it's with all respect, because anybody can do what we're doing. Promise you, anyone can. You just have to apply yourself. You have goals and then you have to execute. But if you think about the cost of a rack, essentially, it's probably a middle ground or high-end snake. So the cost of an entire rack, extra levels, everything, will be essentially the cost of a high-end snake, or high to middle snake. So when you consider it like that, and then you factor in the fact of you want to make sales, but at what point? We're not at that point where we want to create incredible animals and just hurry up and push them out into the market. We want to breed for ourselves first. As you can see over there, we actually have six clutches in there still cooking. We have 9, we've hatched out 9 clutches all together so far. This is our first year. We have a bunch of babies, we're growing them out. We got a bunch of holdbacks already. We're in a bunch of different projects, but that's the whole meaning behind this. So we need to make sure that no matter what, you have a place for these babies to go as you're hatching them out. Us at the moment, we don't have to worry about that because we're breeding for ourselves first. Yes, it's a business, but our business plan is a 5-year business plan before trying to even essentially turn profit. And we're so deep into it financially now where the projects we're jumping into, at some point, maybe if it's not this year, most definitely next year, we're going to create and produce animals that I'm not going to say that's not available to be purchased, but they're not, well, that's it, they're not available to be purchased. People may have created them, but they're going to be in other people's holdback racks and grow outs and other programs. And it's going to be some of them snakes, it's going to be pry from your cold dead hands type of snakes because it's going to further their projects. So again, you got to breed for yourself first. All those guys do it. Bob, Justin, Ozzy. If you produce something that's incredible, you're going to keep it. You produce a second one that's incredible, we're going to keep that too. We're going to think about the ones that's the 3rd and 4th. Then you start looking at, okay, now I can offer this up and this can help someone else reach their goals. Sorry to ramble on for you guys, but it's just a thought process in hand. So if we're working so many different recessives and multiple recessive projects, we have some quad recessive projects and then triple recessive projects, we're going to be holding back a lot of females. That's going to be triple het with 3, 4, 5 different codoms in them, and we're going to be growing them up. But we're not relying strictly on what we produce to move us forward. Female side, we're going to hold those guys back. Males, we're going to keep the extraordinary stuff and move everything else, the byproduct of our breedings, along to other people that's going to move their programs forward. But we are not removing ourselves from buying forward. Every year we're going to keep buying forward. So in our business plan, if you bring $150,000 in for that year, we're probably going to be looking at investing $50,000 to $60,000 back into the infrastructure some way. Whether that means, okay, we have an ultra male pod boy that's phenomenal. Not saying that we would just move him along, but maybe he'll sit here in the rack for a year as a backup male, because now we're looking at having Black Pastel, Orange Dream, ultra male pod het DG. Now that'll be our go-to ultra male pod breeder. We got our ultra male pod breeder now, where our acquisition after that, which works in that same program, is our Aussie boy. We have Orange Dream, Super Inchy, Leopard, Hypo, Pod, 66% het ultra male, which we will love to prove out ultra male on them. So what we're doing, we have double visual females, ultra male pods. We're producing ultra male pods with that breeder, that previous stated breeder male, which will in turn produce onslaught of females to offer up to that boy that's a powerhouse, and it's going to produce some incredible animals, which leads us back to this here. Where are you going to put those animals? So we would rather literally have 100 plus slots of breeder size tubs that's not being used, ready for females, or males to, extraordinary males to hold back. That is the planning stages that happened from 10 snakes in. Now we're 140 snakes in. So we were literally acquiring the infrastructure to make sure that the infrastructure can withhold the growth of the business, because we want to stay small, but we want to stay extraordinary small. We're part of Ozzy Patreon, and he speaks about it all the time. He releases breeder females because, hey, if you got a 6 gene, doesn't matter what he's working with, a 6 gene female, where she's produced clutch after clutch for him that's been amazing, and now he has maybe a descendant of that female with 1 extra gene or 2 extra genes, whatever it may be. What's the point in keeping that female other than to grow your numbers? Just replace her. So now you can actually make her available to the next person trying to step up their program, because you have a female to replace that one, or 2 females to replace that one. So that's the kind of infrastructure that we're kind of executing over here. We have a bunch of females now where I said we have 12, 14 empty tubs in the racks that we are using. And of those tubs that are being used, off the top of my head, we probably have 12 females where we have grow outs that are 800, 900, some of them 1100 grams, that will be now taking the place of some of those females, and then we'll also still be buying females and everything else. So I say all that because we're also going to make breeder females available for purchase as well when we start listing things. So you got to have a game plan, you have to execute, and you have to prepare. So leading back to the market is, guys, if you go on Morph Market, don't get scared. Everything's on sale. Now is the time. It's a buyer's market when you start talking about real estate being seller's market versus a buyer's market. It's a buyer's market. So all those genes you've been, looking at, gawking at, wishing you can get, wishing you can afford, you need to jump out there and go get them. Put them in your racks, grow them out. In 2 years, when they're breeder size, they'll be probably triple, quadruple the amount of money that you've even spent to feed those snakes, let alone you probably not even going to release it, because guess what, you're not going to sell them. It's going to be one of them prior from your cold dead hands type of snakes, because it's going to be an influential part of your puzzle and your game plan on how you want to attack things. So work your programs, make your programs your own. Don't falter. Don't take up somebody else's program because you think it's gonna make you more money. We are going after stuff that we like, stuff that we wanna produce, stuff that we think is incredible. So long as you go that route, you really can't fail, unless what you think is incredible is like Spider or Super Pastels. Yeah, I'm throwing a little jab, but be smart with it. But it's Will, Flawless Exotic Creations. We out.